8-year-old Leo was in a car accident and urgently needed Rh-negative blood. My husband, David, turned quickly to the doctor. I know someone with Rh-negative. I'll call her right now. I slammed the divorce papers against David's chest. She can come, but you sign these first. He crumpled the papers. Scarlett, are you insane? Our son is fighting for his life and you're doing this now? I met his gaze, my voice cold. Yes, my mother-in-law rushed forward, hand raised to slap me. You heartless witch. You'd really let your own son die? I only smiled. Then I walked to the ER door. Doctor, halt all the preparations. The family refuses consent for the transfusion and the surgery. The doctors and nurses stared at us, their movements frozen. The air in the ER corridor grew thick, heavy, broken only by the low hum of medical machines. David pointed a finger at my face, his eyes bloodshot. Scarlett, say that again. I said, stop the surgery. My voice was low, unnervingly clear in the silence. My mother-in-law snapped out of her daze and lunged for me again. David caught her, locking his arms around her waist. She clawed at the empty air between us, screaming, "You monster! Leo is still in there. Your own flesh and blood. How can you say that?" I simply watched her, saying nothing. David held his struggling mother, snarling at me. What the hell do you want? Is it because I called Chloe that you're acting like this? There's nothing going on between us. She just happens to have Rh-negative blood, and I didn't want you to suffer again. You didn't want me to suffer? I asked him. David, do you even believe that yourself? My question choked him, his face twisting in an ugly grimace. Is this really the time for this? Leo's life is what matters most. Whatever grievances you have, we can talk about them after the surgery, when we're home. Home? I looked at him. David, we don't have a home anymore. I held out the divorce papers again. Sign them. I've already arranged for a blood bank and several volunteers. As soon as you sign, they'll be on their way. There will be enough blood for Leo's surgery. My mother-in-law stopped sobbing. Both she and David stared at me as if I were insane. To force me into a divorce, you'd even abandon our son's life? David ground out, each word bitten off. I said sign, and the blood will arrive. I didn't back down. Other patient families began to gather, whispering and pointing at me. What's wrong with that woman? She's so cruel, right? Even animals protect their young. Her husband didn't want her to donate blood because he cared about her, and she's using the child's life to threaten him into divorce. The murmurs and accusations washed over me, but I felt nothing. David watched me, his chest heaving. Fine, Scarlett, you're ruthless. He released his mother, snatched the papers and pen from my hand, and scrawled his signature a few times before throwing the document back at my chest. Satisfied now? Can we save our son? I picked up the papers from the floor, confirmed his signature, and tucked them into my bag. Then I turned to the doctor nearby. You can prepare for the surgery now. The blood will be here as soon as possible. With that, I turned and walked away. David yelled after me. Where are you going? You're not staying for Leo's surgery? I didn't look back. His life or death is no longer my concern. As I exited the hospital, a car screeched to a halt in front of me. The door opened, and a woman in a white dress hurried out, her face etched with anxiety. It was Chloe. She saw me, paused, then asked urgently, Scarlett, how's Leo? David called me, said something happened to the baby. I looked at her, the woman who had hovered around David for 10 years. He'll live. I spat out the 3 words, moving to walk around her. Chloe seized my wrist, her eyes rimmed with red. Scarlett, I know you've always misunderstood the bond between David and me, but right now, Leo is all that matters. Please don't blame David. He's just so worried about you. Her voice was soft, yet perfectly pitched to reach every onlooker. An elderly woman immediately began to berate me. What kind of wife are you? She's speaking reason to you, and you stand there with such darkness in your eyes. To abandon your own son, have you no conscience? Chloe quickly turned to the woman, pleading. Please don't say that. Scarlett is just very tired. The more she played the role of the compassionate one, the more wicked I appeared. I yanked my hand free. Don't touch me. Chloe stumbled, tears welling up. I'm sorry, Scarlett. I didn't mean to. David rushed out of the hospital at that moment, saw the scene, and immediately pushed Chloe behind him. He glared at me, furious. Scarlett, haven't you caused enough trouble? Chloe came here out of kindness for Leo. Why are you taking your rage out on her? My mother-in-law followed him out, and seeing Chloe, she seemed to find her savior, grasping Chloe's hand. Oh, you good girl, you're finally here. Go see Leo. That venomous woman has abandoned him. We only have you now. Chloe, while comforting my mother-in-law, spoke to David. David, don't blame Scarlett. She must just be overwhelmed. The 3 of them stood together, a picture of a loving family. And I was the unwanted villain, the cruel outsider. I looked at them, and my 10-year marriage felt like a cruel joke. I said nothing more, hailed a taxi, and left. Even after the car drove a long distance, I could still see David holding Chloe, and my mother-in-law wiping away tears in the rearview mirror. Back home, I started packing my things. This house was mine, bought before marriage, registered in my name. For 10 years, I had turned it into a home, but in the end, there wasn't an ounce of warmth here that belonged to me. That evening, I received a call from my mom. The moment I answered, a barrage of scolding erupted. Scarlett, have you gone mad? Leo was in such a terrible car accident, and you chose to divorce his father at the hospital? You and your dad have brought such shame upon us. Mom, don't call me mom. I don't have such a heartless daughter. My mom's voice was shrill. David told me everything. He didn't want you to donate blood because he cares about you. You nearly bled to death when you gave birth to Leo, and your health has never been the same since. How ungrateful can you be? I clutched my phone, unable to utter a single word. You go to the hospital right now. Apologize to David and go see Leo. If you still recognize me as your mother, then go. The call ended. I stared at the dark screen of my phone, my heart clutched as if by an unseen hand. When I gave birth to Leo, I truly almost died. But none of them knew why I had hemorrhaged so badly. I didn't go to the hospital. The next day, David brought my parents to my place. The moment I opened the door, my dad's hand shot out, connecting with my face. You monster! You dare show your face here! He was trembling trembling with rage. Leo had a high fever last night, crying for his mom, and where were you? Is your heart made of stone? My mom, supporting my dad, cried as she spoke to me. Scarlett, please come to the hospital with us. The child is innocent. Even if you and David have issues, you can't take it out on the child. David stood behind them, looking at me with a pained expression. Darling, I know I messed up. I shouldn't have called Chloe. Please come back with me. Leo needs you. He acted so genuinely that even my parents believed him. I covered my stinging cheek, looking at the three of them. Are you done talking? My dad froze. What kind of attitude is that? If you're done, then leave. I need to rest. I pointed to the door. You! My dad raised his hand, intending to strike me again, but my mom held him back tightly. David also stepped forward, shielding me. Uncle, please don't be angry. It's all my fault. I didn't handle things well, and I hurt Scarlett. He turned, his eyes red, looking at me. Darling, you can hit me or yell at me, but please don't abandon me and Leo. We've been together for so many years. How can you just throw it all away? He reached for my hand, but I stepped back, avoiding his touch. David, stop acting. Aren't you tired? David's face stiffened for a moment, then was replaced by an even greater sorrow. Scarlett, how did you become like this? You weren't like this before. You used to love Leo so much. You'd do anything to give him the best. Yes, I nodded. I used to be quite foolish. My parents, seeing my imperviousness to reason, were utterly disappointed. My mom, tears streaming down her face, said, Scarlett, if you insist on this divorce, then don't ever set foot in our home again. We'll pretend we never had a daughter like you. My dad pointed at David and declared, from now on, David is our true son. I looked at them, and the last flicker of warmth in my heart vanished. Fine, that single word made my parents and David freeze. They probably thought that by threatening me with family ties, I would compromise, just like every other time in the past 10 years. Unfortunately, this time, they were wrong. After seeing them off, I received a call from my lawyer. Ms. Scarlett, David's side has received the court summons, but he leaked to the media, claiming you abused Leo and due to marital disputes, refused to give him a blood transfusion, leaving him critically ill. I opened my phone. The news was everywhere. Wealthy wife's cruel jealousy. I won't save my own son. Where is a mother's love? Heartbroken 8-year-old. Mommy doesn't want me anymore. The comment sections were a blaze of fury. My photos, workplace, and home address were all exposed. A group of self-proclaimed activists had gathered downstairs at my company, holding banners, demanding I be fired. Soon I received a call from my boss, who told me not to come into work for a while. That afternoon, Chloe called me. Her voice sounded gentle and innocent. Scarlett, please don't blame David. He was just pushed to his limit by you. Leo isn't doing well. He needs his mom. Can you please come back and see him? What standing do you have to call me? I asked. A few seconds of silence on the other end. I'm Leo's aunt and your friend. Friend? I laughed. Chloe, are you even worthy of that title? With that, I hung up. Not long after, my phone buzzed with a photo from Chloe. In it, Leo lay in a hospital bed. Chloe was bending over him, gently wiping his face. David and his mother stood close by, watching them with tender, doting looks. The scene was a picture of perfect harmony, so bright it stung the eyes. Beneath it was a message. Scarlett, we're all waiting for you to come back. On the day of the hearing, the courtroom was packed. There were media reporters, social activists, and all our so-called relatives and friends. They were all there to see me utterly destroyed. David arrived with Leo and Chloe. Leo sat in a wheelchair, his face pale, his arm still in a cast. Seeing me, Leo's eyes immediately welled up with tears. Mommy, please don't divorce Daddy, okay? It's all Leo's fault. Leo won't get sick anymore. He cried so pitifully, drawing gasps of sympathy from the spectators. My mother-in-law wailed dramatically, pointing at me and cursing. You bring nothing but bad luck. A curse on husband and son. What did our family do to deserve a creature like you? David held Leo, looking every bit the tragic good husband. Scarlett, even now, are you still going to be so stubborn? For your own sake, are you really going to throw away Leo's future? Chloe stood beside him, timely offering a tissue and gently comforting him. I watched their little family act, my face expressionless. David's lawyer rose and began to recite my list of failures. From forgetting our anniversary gift to not cooking for my mother-in-law's birthday, to my deliberate refusal to act when Leo was in the car accident. Each point painted me as the selfish, heartless villain. Finally, the lawyer presented a hospital report. Your Honor, due to the defendant's delay, the plaintiff's son, Leo, suffered cerebral hypoxia. This could result in permanent neurological damage. Furthermore, the defendant has subjected the child to sustained emotional abuse, causing severe psychological harm. We request full custody be granted to Mr. David, and that the defendant be ordered to pay $1 million in emotional damages. The judge looked at me, his expression heavy with judgment. Defendant, how do you respond to the plaintiff's claims? Every eye in the room fixed on me, waiting. I stood. I didn't look at David but at Chloe in the witness stand. I'd like to ask Miss Chloe a question.